Hello and welcome to Top Story. Postponed yet again, the failure of the Lebanese parliament on Saturday to vote on whether to approve General Michel Sleiman as president leaves the country teetering dangerously close to the edge of political collapse. It was the 10th time in succession that parliament has had to postpone the vote, which is now scheduled to take place on the 29th of December. Despite agreement in principle that Michel Sleiman should become president, the Western-backed ruling coalition and the pro-Syrian opposition remain divided on other key issues. Among them, who should lead the government and how many ministries should be assigned to the Hezbollah-dominated opposition. It wants enough of its supporters in the cabinet to wield a veto, something the present government is not prepared to concede. Well, joining me now to discuss just how critical the Lebanese crisis has become is Nadim Freiha of the Free Patriotic Tendency, a Lebanese political movement supported by Michel Aoun. Thanks very much for being on Top Story. What is the sticking point now? Why the problems? Because it seemed at one point that there was agreement on the candidacy of Michel Sleiman, but now, again, everything seems murky again.
Yes, I'll explain that, but before, the things are not white and black in Lebanon, and the opposition is not at all pro-Syrian. General Aoun is the head of the resistance against the Syrian army, and he's just fighting for the right of Lebanese. There are so many stakes in the Middle East, the American ones concerning the war in Iraq, and they want to see the Syrian negotiating something with them to stop their interference in Iraq. The Syrian one, they don't want to see the American fighting against the regime through Lebanon. And the Lebanese one, which is best represented by the opposition in order to avoid Lebanon a new war. So in this new election, I would say, the French mediation put both parties to take and give something. So General Michel Aoun accepted that he withdrew his own candidacy. And he accepted the offer of the power in place. Hariri's offer to put Michel Sleiman at the head of the state and to appoint him and to elect him. But in counterpart, the Hariri coalition did not give anything. It's not for General Aoun, but for the Lebanese. The Lebanese wanted to share power.
What is the sticking point now? What is it that the opposition wants that the government is not prepared to concede to?
We would like to apply the constitution of Lebanon. In Lebanon, we have a consensual democracy. You know that in Western countries, democracy is 50+1 of the votes, which bring a new government and new parliaments. In Lebanon, as we have a lot of communities and all of them are minorities in Lebanon, we have found out a solution. The founder of the Lebanese Republic have found a consensual solution where the representative of every community comes and rule the countries all together. But today, two of the major communities, that mean the Christians community and the Shia communities, are out of the government. And the major point here is to bring them into the government and to make a government of national union in Lebanon, to bring out the Lebanese out of this crisis, I would say. This is the major stake for us.
But, are you so sure that Hezbollah wants to rule by consensus in Lebanon? Isn't the prevailing view that actually the long-term aim of Hezbollah is to impose its will on Lebanon?
You are right about this question. We had this question ourselves when the Syrian pulled out from Lebanon. We had a lot of question marks about everybody. And surprisingly, we had more troubles with Hariri to bring them to have a consensual solution and to bring them to a real democracy than Hezbollah. With Hezbollah, we had a lot of different point of views on many subjects. But finally, we came and we discussed with them, and we, among maybe hundreds of points that we are not okay with them, we agreed on 10 major points that can construct the future of Lebanon. And these major points are a lot of concession from Hezbollah, which we really appreciate on that, because they accept a laic state, which Islamic movement have never accepted in the Middle East, and this guarantee to the Christians to live in the country. They renounce on Islamic Republic. They do not want to make it anymore, and they would like to live in a consensual democracy in Lebanon. They also we founded with them a solution to remit the armaments, the arms of Hezbollah into the hands of the Lebanese state. And this is following three major points.
It's all very well to say that, but to actually do it is a completely different thing. Somehow or other, Hezbollah has to win the trust of the ruling coalition, and that seems to have been a problem. Over the last year, for instance, Hezbollah has shown no signs of disarming, as it's meant to have done under UN resolutions.
Yeah, you are right, but he wants to disarm with an agreement with the Lebanese parties. He cannot just put his arms like it's asked to do. I mean, there is a resolution 1559, which we totally agree with and support it. It was voted by the in the United Nations through America and France proposition. But there is no mean of implementing it on the ground. So we came and we found out this agreement, 10 points of agreement with Hezbollah. In the past, I mean, everything Hezbollah has engaged to do, he has done it. But the major problem here is the 10 points were refused by the government, and the government is not giving another solution to find out a peace process in Lebanon. So what we are facing today is one peace process elaborated by Michel Aoun and by Hezbollah, despite their differences, which is not accepted by the government, and another way, a government who is refusing a consensual democracy in Lebanon and who is trying to fight with other half of the Lebanese. And
but from the perspective of the ruling coalition, things don't really look like that. There's been a campaign of assassination against members of its members in parliament, which understandably makes it a little bit resistant to accepting the word of the opposition.
You're right, but it's the way how you perceive the assassinations. We are very concerned by this assassination, and it's the responsibility of the states of Lebanon and of the actual government to ensure security to its people. Now, if you see just the assassination of the MPs, you find that it's against the maybe against the Hariri coalition. But if you see with two eyes, I mean, by opening your eyes, you see that everything was done from a couple of years today was against the Lebanese people as a whole. We have seen a war against Lebanon in July 2006 run by Israel. We have seen a war by Al-Qaeda or by integrist Sunnah in Nahr al-Barid in northern Lebanon, and this is not Hezbollah or the others. So a lot of people died into this couple of years, not only 14 people or 18.
Very briefly, because we're running out of time. Is this the year coming up, do you think, in which Lebanon is going to dissolve into civil war again?
No, because there is a real will from all Lebanese, to stop any any interference in that, and there is no way. I mean, it comes through us. This is a fact for us. We're doing our best not to have a civil war again.
Okay, that's all we have time for today. Thanks very much to our guest Nadine Freha. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of Top Story. Goodbye.